Hello everybody and welcome back to today's video where we're going to be taking a look at this super miniature 3D printer. I'm Really Random Reviews, hope you're all fine and well and having a fantastic day. Okay, so this printer is from Amazon and it costs £150 at the time of recording. I'll obviously leave links in the description. Let's get into the box and see what we can make. I can see here it says iOS and Android compatible, but only the Android box is ticked, so I assume that this machine can only be used with Android. We'll take a look at this later. It says we can build toys, teach and get creative. So it's much smaller than I expected, I've got to be honest. It is very small, but it's supposed to have everything included, so we're going to take a look at that now. So as you can see, it's just a little small unit. It's only around 8 inches tall, maybe 6 or 7 wide, and again in depth around maybe 8-10 inches. We've got the feeding loop there, and we've got the feeding handle at the back. We've got a power switch, which is actually quite nice to see. It's very basic and such a standard thing to have, but you'd be surprised, a lot of these small ones do not include a power switch, so I'm pleased to see that. And we've got some vents around the side. It looks like a little cat box, to be honest, but let's see what it can do. It's supposed to be able to print models fine, so we'll take a look at that throughout the video. So yeah, we've got a roll of filament here. I assume this is 175mm. We'll check that out as well. A nice fat roll of filament there in green. Then we've got a plastic handle. I assume that is to hold the filament in place on the rear. It's like a large plastic key. We've got a power brick. We've got a quick start guide and a little plastic bag which contains a spanner, a spare nozzle, a USB card reader, a USB Type-C extension and USB 2 port. There's also an SD card included. This SD card should already have some information on it which enables us to print some generic models. We'll check this out shortly. But we've got a little SD card there that's included and a miniature card reader. And as I said, the USB 2.0 to USB-C, and then there's also a micro USB-C as well. So it's a handy little adapter, that. And the spanner for the nozzle. Okay, so it looks like we've got everything included. We've got a quick start guide here, so we'll have a little quick read through to see what we need to do, because you've got to let the machine warm up to certain temperatures and things like that, so I'll have to have a quick check of that. We've got a QR code there to connect us to the Android app. We'll also take a look at that. Let's get all this polystyrene and stuff out of here and get this powered on. Even the LCD screen and dial is tiny. We'll see how it all functions in just a minute. The power supply is just your typical power brick with a kettle type lead and a 12-volt pin for the printer side. Plug the power lead in next to the power button and then plug your other end into your power source. Then we're going to get the filament reel and put it onto this key here, and then we're going to lock the key in place to hold the filament reel on the back of the printer. Nice and simple. Good. Then we're going to put the filament into the feeder. To do this, you just need to line it up with the hole underneath there, and then you use the lever on the left hand side. You just lift it upward, and this kind of pulls the filament up a little tiny bit at a time. You need to pump this about 5 to 10 times just to make sure the filament's up into the nozzle. Let's take it over to its permanent home then and get everything set up for a print. So the filament is 1.75mm exactly, and then you need to let the 3D printer itself warm up to around 195 to 200 degrees. We then want to check that our bed is clean, ready for the next print, and we want to make sure that our SD card is installed so there's files available for the printer to read from. We can select these files by pressing this button in here. You turn it left and right to select certain files that are preloaded, and then you press it inward to select. You can also press it inward to go back, and then there's also a few other options like an info tab, and then there's the X, Y and Z axis in case you need to realign the printer nozzle or the printer bed. Very simple to use and user friendly. I actually already did a print. I did a 3D tower here, a hexagonal tower, and it's actually turned out quite good. The detail's not perfect, but you can see it's turned out pretty well. So let's take a look at the Android app next then. For this you want to open up your smartphone camera and just scan the QR code. This will direct you to this 3D modeling website. As far as I can tell, it's a Chinese website, and there are unfortunately a few spelling mistakes where it says register and entertainment. Couple of little things like that, but otherwise there are some good 3D models that you can download and print. You do also need to register, so you can do this by just pressing the sign up button and entering a username, a password, an email, phone number and things like that. Once you've successfully created an account, it will let you download any of the 3D models that it's got here. You can choose from educational, toys and animation, anything like that. You can select what you want, download that file, and then you're supposed to put the SD card into the little dock that comes with the printer, and it should automatically put the G code onto the memory card for you. Unfortunately, my smartphone isn't allowing me to do this under any circumstances. I've done a little bit of troubleshooting, and it appears to be my phone, not the printer, because I have the same issue when I tried to move my videos onto Sony Vegas. I have to plug my phone into the computer and remove them manually. It's a bit of a pain in the backside, but I found a workaround. All you do here is you log in and download the file to your smartphone. Take your smartphone over to your PC, plug it in via the USB, and then select the files in your smartphone. Go ahead and get the G code from the 3D website. Just try and remember what item it is you're trying to print, and then you want to cut or copy that file. Then go ahead and grab the USB drive from the printer, plug it into the dock, then plug that into your PC, and then you want to either copy or paste that onto the drive. As you can see, that has worked for me, and these files do actually show up on the USB now, so I'm just going to run this back over to the printer and check that they're showing up on the printer. So yes, as you can see, we've got the Yin FU2 and the UFO2 G code. Both of those have just been installed, so we're going to go ahead and try and print one of these. One of these should be a musical note, so hopefully we get something resembling that in just a moment. And I'll also do a time lapse of the square 3D print that I did earlier towards the end of the video if you want to stick around for that. And there you have it, folks. We do have a little musical note. Unfortunately, I don't think the printer nozzle was warmed up quite enough. We've got a couple of little bits of misprint there, but I'm not too disappointed with that for my first attempted download and print. Overall, I have to say I'm pretty impressed with this, although it's mainly aimed for children and it is very small, and for a little extra money you could probably get a normal size one that's actually made for adults, and the components inside are also fairly cheaply made. But with all that in consideration, it includes everything. The bed comes off really easy and allows you to access your models. There's easy access for the top for maintenance. Everything that you need is there. Even the power button, which isn't always included on these smaller models. The feeder handle is very basic, but it works very well, and it has the QR code clearly displayed that directs you to the 3D modeling website. It comes with a thick roll of PLA green filament, which is 1.75 millimeters, a 4GB SD card, and the controls are very simple again, but user friendly. It also gives you some adapters and tools, and the quality of the models is not very good, but it's not terrible, and I actually expected much worse. For you guys wanting to see an actual full print in progress, I'll throw a print on time-lapse now, so you guys grab yourself a brew, maybe one of your favourite snacks, kick your feet up and relax for the time lapse. Unfortunately, the very first layer of our print here didn't print correctly, and that gave us a slightly squiffed corner on this square, but other than that, it is actually pretty good. It's almost a perfect square. And out of the 3 models that I have already printed, this has been the only one that has had a slight error. Other than that, these prints are pretty cool. As I said, the detail is not perfect, but they are pretty well detailed and they are to a decent standard, especially for the size and scale of this printer. Could I recommend this printer? I mean, to a child or for a gift for Christmas, birthday, for somebody just wanting to learn the basics of G-code and 3D printing, then yes. But if detail and precision really matters to you, then you'd probably be better off spending that little bit extra and getting a more professional machine. I give this 4 stars out of 5, and I actually have had good fun with this. I will be doing a further video in the future on some of the things that I print off. I'm going to try and get some really good cool stuff done with this. If you're stuck around till now, you're absolutely awesome. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel with your notifications on, that way you never miss any future uploads. Guys, take care of yourselves and each other. I'm Really Random Reviews, and I'll see you in my next video.